Yeah, we in the building. What up, y'all? It's your man Sam Ant here at Viral Hip Hop News. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that notification bell, and subscribe to the brand Viral Hip Hop News. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. We about to put in work. So yesterday, I thought of this idea to have a May throwback series where I dropped one of our iconic throwback interviews that we've did with some of hip hop and some of our culture's most iconic figures. Wanted to just kind of pay homage to those who we've interviewed. Also give you guys kind of a nostalgic feeling of when interviews were dope, when we just sat down and had grown folk conversations about people's impact in the industry, what their impact meant for the culture, things they might have dealt with throughout their journey in the industry and in the game, and where they at and where they stand today, man. We did one yesterday with the OG Trick out of Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to the OG. Had a couple interviews with him. We dropped our very first one that we did back in 2022 yesterday. Today, I'm going to drop one with none other than legendary MOP member Billy Danze, New York hip hop icon, one half of the legendary group MOP with his dog Fame. We talk about how him and Fame got together. We talk about how they created MOP, life in New York when he was growing up, how hip hop was when he was growing up, his time making some of MOP's most iconic records, his time with The Rock. Dope ass interview. It's about an hour long. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Not going to give you any crazy titles, not going to give you anything to bait off of. If you're fishing for drama, if you're fishing for nonsense, you're in the wrong damn lake. You're at the wrong lake. Go paddle your ass to another lake and look for drama. These are grown folk conversations here. Want to get back to it. So enjoy. Without further ado, let's listen to Hip Hop Uncensored podcast interview with MOP icon Billy Danze.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip
Bars is back.
hip hop,
Sam
hip
Ant.
hop,
Oh God,
hop,
what's
hip
up with you?
hop.
I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures, the culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal. It don't matter if you a rookie or at your pinnacle. They gon' touch on stuff that you did and what you finna do. It's uncensored too. Yo, they never had a goofy show, but I saw some boys on they show acting goofy though. Well, if you think they L stupid though, you would get exposed like the hoes on OnlyFans letting coochie show. To introduce the show, when I sent this to Sam, asked, oh God, that nigga said, oh God, you the man, Cass. I spit white like a clan mask, and I'm a hustler. I could stand out on the beach and sell sandbags. Some things can't last, but this ain't just a podcast. This is Sam Ant and oh God cast. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam Ant riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam Ant riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Go gang.
Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. I'm your brother, Oh God, from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up, y'all? It's your man Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, in the building for a very special edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Because in the building this evening, we got one half of the legendary MOP. We got the brother Billy Danze on the podcast. What's good with you, OG? How you feeling?
I'm good, brother. I'm having a moment, man. I'm enjoying myself with this, with life and hip hop. You know what I mean?
Indeed, man. You know, it's funny, man. It's kind of life comes full circle because I used to be associated with a brother by the name of DR. Period. Does that name ring a bell?
Of course,
Yeah,
of course.
Used to be with, yes, sir. Used to be with Rock Boy Records, and used to hear some good stories about the brothers, Lil Fame, Billy Danze over at MOP, man. And was hoping I had ever had the honor to, as an R&B singer and as a part of Rock Boy, talk to you and see you and kind of, you know what I mean, rub elbows. But now I'm honored to be alongside my cousin on our podcast, having our conversation with you right now, man. So an honor, brother. Definitely appreciate you. And how's life been, man? Let's get us caught up on how Billy Danze is doing, brother.
Oh man, it's all great, man. I mean, when I reflect on my life as a whole, like from my humble beginnings in Brownsville, Brooklyn, to still be alive for one, and have had traveled the world 5 times and ridiculous amounts of success in this business. I'm doing well, bro. I'm doing great, brother. I'm humbled and I appreciate all the love that I get from people around the world, and you guys helping keep the name alive out there. You know what I'm saying? So definitely appreciate it.
No doubt.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm gonna go back because I always like to start from the beginning, but I can remember you guys were doing a show up in Brooklyn, and just the genuine people, the genuine feel, the people in Brooklyn, and the atmosphere was amazing, man. Just the realness. But I know when you came up, it was pretty rough. I'm not mistaken. You came from the Brownsville section of Brooklyn.
Yep.
How was it growing up out there, and how did that help mold you into being who you are today?
It was hell, right? You want the truth? There you go.
Right.
It was hell, bro. But I mean, it definitely molded me in a way different from a lot of other people in the industry. Because for me, it was this business was really a lifesaver. I was literally in the middle of doing in a criminal act. Let me just say it just like that, right? And Fame walked up on me and was like, "Yo, I asked you to do a record with me. You still gonna do it?" Yeah. Let me know when. Dude, like right now. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm busy. I'm trying to get something situated here. He like, yo, now. He like, yo, they're in the studio waiting for us right now. So I decided to go with Fame and not continue in that act that I was pretty much in the process of. And that's kind of how it all happened. We went to DR Period crib and created a record called How About Some Hardcore. Couldn't even finish the record because it was my very first time in the studio. So from one side of life, from one side of the fence right to the other instantly. By the grace of God, like I said, I went with Fame. I didn't do what I was intending to do at that moment. Thank God, because like a week later, I had a deal. And like I said, it was my very first time in the studio. So shout out to Fame for being the lifesaver. You know what I mean?
How'd you link up with Fame? How'd you link up with DR? Talk about that.
I don't know how I linked up with Fame. Like we've been together, tied together for so long. We can't say if we met in the store, at a park, at school, anything. And if you ask him this same question, he's gonna tell you the same answer. We really don't know. So it's been that long. DR lived around the corner from myself and Fame, because me and Fame lived on the same block. And on our way to school, every day you would hear this music blaring out of this crib. We don't know what's going on because we're kids. We're not even thinking about it, right? But DR been involved in music that long. He's always been serious about the music. And, I know him from the neighborhood, but I didn't understand how serious he was in the music. And then you also got to remember, at that time, it was much different from the kids today. Everybody think they can do it. And our day was like, there's no way we can do that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's no way we can do that. So our artists, our idols, our musical heroes, we didn't realize that, like, I didn't realize Big Daddy Kane was from right across town. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that. So that's how it was for us. So we never had no intentions on getting into the business. Whatever DR was doing at that time, he was DJing. He was actually an MC at one time. He was producing beats and all of that stuff. But we didn't. There was no way we were going to connect with him on that, as far as we could see. You know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to DR Period too. Speaking of him as a producer and just an all-around person, like he's a great guy, like a good guy. But as a producer, I don't think there's many producers that could do what DR Period does. He's not like, so producers have this thing where they go, my sound. Mm-hmm. This is my style. DR don't have a style or a sound. He can do it all. So that's what a producer should be. So shout out to DR Period and the whole Rock Boy team, man. It's my guys.
No doubt. Now talk about some of the influences. I'm curious to know some of the people that you listen to coming up in the game. And also I know it's a debate, but some people say that hip hop started in the Bronx, but some people say it started in Brooklyn. Could you elaborate on that as well?
Well, I'm definitely not gonna elaborate on where hip hop started, because as far as I know, all of this time we always said, it started in the Bronx, and then years later we hear it started in Brooklyn.
Right.
I don't give a shit where it started. I'm just happy that it started, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I'm just
sir.
happy about that. This thing of ours is very special, so I don't care where it started as long as it's continued to go. So when it comes to this music, I was really influenced by talented people.
Gotcha.
We can give them a name, but there'll be such a list, it's ridiculous. So the people that came before my era of music were amazing. Just had this conversation about how now they have this. What's different now is so crazy, because even though we had, we was categorized, right? So we had, like, let me ask y'all a question. Who are backpack rappers off top of your head? Who's the backpack rappers?
Talib, Mos Def,
Kid Cudi,
Mm-hmm.
Gangstar.
Lupe Fiasco.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that backpack rap category, you all just named about 5-6 names, right?
Right.
None of them sound the same.
No.
None of them. Gangster rap, MOP, even if it was G Unit, whoever, right?
Right.
None of us sound the same,
Facts.
right? Now you got trap rap. Everybody sounds the same. You got, what's the other one? Drill.
Drill music. Yeah.
Everybody sounds the same. So that was the difference between our time and their time. Like, we had the categories, but we had people that sounded different, created different ways, created different flows and all of that stuff. They just don't do it no more. So, and not to say that I don't get no influence or no drive from any of the young cats, but
Right.
I'm sticking with my era and cats before me in order to get the energy to keep going. And it's sad, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that we have it. You know what I'm saying? That we
Right.
had it, and even before hip hop, we kind of grew up on what our parents listened to, and that was amazing music, bro. Like, I mean, the passion that those old cats was putting in that music, you'll never get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get an R&B cat now, like, it's simply pop, twerk, drop, twist, bounce. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, damn. Like, I feel bad for the young kids because they don't even have that beautiful music that helped us swing with the emotions and even fall in love with the cute little girl around the block. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that no more. So I feel bad for them, but myself, I just get the vibe off of anybody that's talented, bro. You know what I mean? So that's always been my influence, and that's what's influenced me, and it's still to this day that's what influenced me.
We're early in this interview, but you said numerous times that hip hop saved you. You're grateful for hip hop, and
right.
that's an honor to hear from an OG in the game. But unfortunately, you see a lot of the youth losing their life because of hip hop, and now we're questioning, is hip hop a dangerous profession to even take up all in one? What do you think? And you just talked and you elaborated on the trap music and the drill music and how it all sounds the same. We all know, unfortunately, the message that goes behind that. Not that we were saints, and not that the music that we listened to were just always projecting the right message, but at the same time, there was a level of creativity involved in it, and it wasn't so much a highlighting involved with it. And it wasn't bodies dropping because of what's going on and what we're seeing. So talk about that, man. What do you think about hip hop now, the culture behind hip hop, the hip hop that's being promoted, I should say, and just the difference between then and now?
Well, to be honest, bro, like, we're grown, sensible men. We understand that the media is always going to say hip hop this, hip hop that, and all this violence in hip hop. But the truth is, hip hop has never killed anyone. Hip hop itself hasn't killed anyone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not, hip hop is not dangerous. Fronting, extra, pushing the buttons of other people that's also fronting is what the problem is. Because these kids, as kids, we don't think about the repercussions or the outcome of standing behind the gun when it's time to. It's not that easy to shoot somebody, right? So we need something to give us that energy to make us feel like it's okay. So you got the other knucklehead standing next to him, going, yeah, son, yeah, that's the way we're supposed to do it. But the truth is, I mean, of course, I feel bad about what's going on. But I'm not gonna allow anybody to blame it on hip hop. Nobody can tell me, yo, hip hop is dangerous. It's not. It's the people that happen to put themselves or make it seem like they're a part of hip hop, because a lot of them don't even have deals. You know what I'm saying? So they're not officially in the music industry. They're just, they're just putting records out, putting them on the internet, drawing some attention, and that's what makes them rappers and stars. But it's really not hip hop. To be honest, like I see all these kids with these gang movements, like all these gangs and this gang, this color, that one, all of them is a part of making music and all of that. Realistically, they don't understand that if your music ain't popping, nobody in corporate America is going to want to give you a deal, because they're not going to want to deal with the headaches that come behind your gang activity. Mm-hmm. You talk to some of them about it and they go, but Snoop, but Game, this one, that one, they're already popping. You know what I'm saying? They're already going. So that's why they can do deals with Jimmy Iovine, because he understands that there's real money behind it. And then there's the other thing, when if they do, because the people in corporate have this ability to forecast and see what's going to happen with an artist. They can tell. So if they do a deal with you and you're not already popping, do you understand the amount of life insurance they're going to put on you? You know what I'm saying? And then either way, they're going to win. So if you pop, cool. If somebody drop you, cool. They win. You know what I'm saying? Wow. They're never going to lose. So back to the question, bro. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get real talkative, but it's all good, I don't think there's any danger in hip hop. I think there's danger around hip hop, and it doesn't have anything to do with the music. It has something to do with the people and how emotional these kids are about somebody saying something on a record, or how disrespectful they could be on a record, which that has nothing to do with really music, right? It's just like the community. It's the community that we in, that we we're young men, we're street, we're gangsters, so we gotta poke our chests out. We can't let nobody get away with anything, and everybody ain't a sucker. So when you really actually go and fire at somebody, if they soft, you got a better chance of coming out on top. But if they not, then they're gonna fire back, and it's gonna go back and forth into the last man standing, and then he goes to jail. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? It's the crazy mentality that we got in the hood, and it has nothing to do with music. This is before most of the kids that's out there popping each other. A lot of them was in the middle of the street before they even got involved in that kind of, and before they even got involved in music. It just kind of bleed over to that. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, man.
Another aspect that we hear commonly with a lot of artists has been in an uptick recently was the promotion of like drug use. Yeah. Which your stance on that? Being an OG, pioneer in the game now, seeing a lot of these rappers, not rapping about selling drugs, but actually using them.
Using them, right? Yeah. Crazy. Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy with that though, bro? So drugs sadly have always been a part of our communities, right? Yeah. And whether you smoke weed, do coke, heroin, and that heroin addict community, that's the cool thing. So nobody feels bad about it when they're around their people. So this is why the dudes that smoke weed hang out with dudes that smoke weed. The cokeheads hang out with cokeheads, so they can feel, like nobody's looking down on them. Right. So that's something that's always been in our communities. You know what I mean? Now the way they're using drugs now, like what they're using, pills and all of that, that's something that we didn't deal with. We didn't know anything about that. Right. But that's just how it is. Like drugs is it's just like clothes, and it's anything in the urban community. Everything plays out, and then something else comes in.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like even with the types of weed now, right? They smoking weed that they ain't got no seeds in it. I understand, and they still use the old excuse, right? Where it's from the earth, right? They still use that, but it's definitely not from the earth. What the fuck grows without seeds, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, from your kids to the grass to food, everything that grows has seeds. Everything. So the weed don't even have seeds now. But it's cool because everybody else is doing it. So and then like you said, like they making records about using drugs. Rick James did it too. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody James Brown, King Heroin. You know what I'm saying? Like they always did it. But now it's just like blatant.
Yeah.
But it's a change of the times, bro. It's what works in people's head. If you doing what everybody else doing, it's cool. Whether that's making records and talking about shooting people, or actually shooting people, or using drugs that's basically an opioid, which you can use too much, and what opioids do, which these kids, I think they don't know because they never do the research. They're just trying to be cool. So opioids slow your body down, which slows down your oxygen, slows down your heart, slows down everything. So opioids is a downer. If you take 2 downers, after it slows down, what's going to happen? Everything's going to stop. Your heart, your lungs, everything. So if you take 2 downers or too many downers, game over. They're playing with their life and they don't even understand that, brother. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Crazy with these kids, man.
That's
crazy.
Real. Transition a little bit, go to a little more of a lighter note. Let's talk about back in the day in '93 when How About Some Hardcore came out. The soundtrack goes on the soundtrack of House Party 3. Hype Williams does the video. All these legendary names that we know about now really start kind of coming into the forefront and really beginning to make a name for themselves. Talk about life then, man, how it was kind of really entering the music industry, beginning to gain some fame, notoriety for what you guys are doing, and how it felt, man, to start all that shit.
Well, it was weird, bro, because it was a quick transition. Like I said, when I did the song, I was in the middle of a criminal act. Got to the studio, first time in the studio ever in my life. Created the song. A week later, had a deal. Right. So that's hard for a kid in Brownsville, Brooklyn, that only know how to get by day to day. Right. So it really didn't hit us until, for me, it didn't hit me until after my son was born. And even a little bit after that, because we had it was one of the biggest records in the country. And we were still out doing our 1s and 2s like we always did. So it really didn't hit me until a little bit after my son was born. And I connected with DJ Premier and Guru, the whole Gangstar team. And they took us on this tour. Very first tour we went on. Because you got to remember, like, most people from our communities, and I'm always talking about the communities, right? But most people from our communities, like, we never leave the city that we're from unless we're on the run. Because there's no real family vacations or none of that shit, right?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're not on the run, then we don't never really leave the city. So for Gangstar, and I'm very grateful to Premier and my brother Guru, God bless him, to take us out on this tour so we can see other things and see other places. And that's when it kind of hit me like, man, we're doing something different. Because that was the plan anyway, to get off the block and do something different. And that's all we had, because we didn't have anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had nothing else. You can't, when you're stuck in these communities, you can't really see past tomorrow. And you could barely see that. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to make it through the day. So to get on the stage and people actually like what we do. So we covered the country with that. And then we went overseas. It was like amazing, bro. I'm like, wow, I never thought. And that was far enough for me. It was like, dude, we made it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we literally was still putting in the work. We just started putting in the work. really just started. So, but just to be able to do something different and to do something that was safe. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have to worry about going to jail. Nobody sneaking up on you, shooting you. You ain't had to worry too much about the stick up, man. All of that stuff. So it was great, bro. I'm like I said, I'm grateful, man. Up until this point, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm so grateful because I learned a lot from traveling the world and connecting with different artists and different people, different walks of life and all of that stuff. And I realized there was something outside of Brownsville. Which is so hard to see that, man. Rather Brownsville is basically Jamaica, Queens, or Compton, or Watts, or the strange little pocket in Paris, or somewhere in UK that people don't know about. You know what I'm saying, over here. So, and that's how we were able to connect with people around the world, because we were the same. There was this celebrity status, but then there was this real status that people that are not in the entertainment or do not do as much traveling as we do, they're the same kind of people are there.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're from Camden, New Jersey, you can literally land somewhere in Paris that's exactly like Camden, New Jersey. It just don't look like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so,
a fact.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a crazy time for us coming through this business, especially making that switch, because it was a quick switch. It wasn't like, you know what I mean, kind of take your time through it. Like I said, I was in the middle of this. Fame said, let's go. We go to DR crib, do the record. Week later, there's a deal. Mind blown.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was born in 85 myself, and I think the first time that I caught wind of MOP was on New York Giants for Big Pun. And I forget what year. It was 96, 97 maybe at that time. And ever since then, man, I just kind of just fell in love with the group, man, the hardcore aggressive style and everything.
Right.
How was it? Any memories of Big Pun, and how was your time on Loud Records?
Memories of Big Pun is like the best memories I have of Pun is more about his personality, right? I mean, we did shows together, we hung out in studios together, but I didn't grow up in the Bronx with him, so I didn't get the time spent with him like a Cuban Links or Fat Joe.
Right.
But the time that we did spend together, this dude had an amazing personality, yo. Like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Doing shows. I remember like we were already cool, but I remember the first time seeing him perform. We were in Washington, D.C. And if you know MOP, like we take pride in our show. Like we think we're the illest, right? At least we go out there and put it on like we're the illest. So we always had, it's this unspoken friendly competition that from my era that we had, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Friendly, it's just friendly competition where we feed off each other's energy. No hate. It's just like, ooh, watch what I do next. You know what I'm saying? It was always that. Because we pushed each other. But we were in DC and they got on the stage first. I'm Billy Danze from MOP. We gonna get busy after y'all done. Dude, let me tell you something. We already know Fat Joe is pretty much a vet at that time.
Yeah.
Pun, he's just kind of new to the scene. So we thought, right? Dude, he's big, right? We know, Pun was a large guy. Joe was a large guy. I'm like, they gonna do good, but they ain't gonna, MOP, we gonna body it. Yo, dude, let me tell you something. Pun and Joe got on that stage. And I'm going, there's no way he can hold this. You know what I'm saying? They was destroying it, bro. And I'm like, the fear sets in because I'm going, this my guy. I love him. He's a great guy. But I'm like, at this size, there's no way he's going to be able to really hold this stage like that, especially with the way that he rhymed.
Right.
With, because he got to take a lot of air in it. It's a lot of oxygen to do that. Yo, dude, they destroyed it, yo. I'm scared to death. I'm scared of, like, about 15 minutes into not even like 5 minutes into their show. They not slowing down. They going and it's picking up and it's I'm like, oh my God. What the fuck's gonna happen from here? I'm talking about hard body, bro. So Yeah, shout out to Joe, that whole terror squad. Rest in peace to Big Pun, man.
Yeah,
Great guy, man. Great guy.
for sure.
Jeez.
Dope.
Yeah.
Very few artists get the opportunity to make timeless music that stand the test of time. MOP is one of those blessed groups to have many songs. None bigger than Annie Up, man. Annie Up still rocking, and you know what I mean, still doing this thing till this day. Talk about that, the magic behind Annie Up, and did you guys at that time, once that energy was built? Like I said, I've been in the studio with DR and got excited. Never Annie Up fucking excited, but we've been excited before. Talk about that, man. What went into that, and did y'all know that was gonna blow up the way it did?
Well, you know what? So Fame and DR has I don't know what it is. I don't know if one day they spoke and said, yo, when we choose records, we're gonna do it like this or whatever, but I'm never there. From How About Some Hardcore, I wasn't there when Fame picked the beat.
Wow.
Which was supposed to be, by the way, that was supposed to be a song that was going to be on Fame's album. That's a whole nother story. And then we decided to just go ahead with the group thing. But Annie Up, I just seen DR tell this story too, how Fame either called them or they linked up or they spoke somewhere, they bumped into each other somewhere. Because we hadn't, the 2 albums before that, we hadn't worked with DR. You know what I'm saying? We worked with DR on, because he did almost the entire very first MOP album. Mm-hmm. After that, we didn't work together for maybe 2 or 3 albums. Right. So anyway, him and Fame connected, and they get in the studio, and this is how the story always goes, right? DR, because, bro, you know DR, he got a ridiculous amount of beats. Mm-hmm. So he's going to play everything. He's going to take his time and play everything. Fame's going to hear a beat. He hears Annie Up. Just like with How About Some Hardcore, he hears Annie Up. They go past it. Go 10, 15 beats past. Fame goes, go back to this one. So now they sit there for an hour or two listening to the beat to Annie Up. Mm. And then they both decided that's it right there. So when Fame brought it to the studio, he already had this idea. Right. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we do, right? As because I trust him enough to know, I trust his talent too, right? So I know he's gonna have a great idea and it's gonna be dope. So I just followed his lead on the record. DR, as always, bodied the record, bro. Like, destroyed the beat. And we went in there and did that thing that we were supposed to do. And, the rest is kind of history. We've been touring off of that record, bro, for 20 years. Literally off of that record. Mm-hmm. Like, the fans, like the fans that come to the show, like, they want to hear everything that we do. But they will not let us go past Annie Up, meaning they won't even let us present them with another song that could be the next Annie Up. They don't trust it. They like, nah, bro. This is where we at. This is what we're doing. Again, shout out to DR, man, my brother. The magic that we made together is unmatched. And, I mean, of course, we'll do it again. But if we don't do it, for some reason, if we don't do it again, we did it. And did it big. You know what I'm saying? We still rocking. Yeah. So shout out to my guy DR, man.
Right. Did you guys have to sue the WWE at one point for using a part of Annie Up?
We talked about it.
Right. Okay.
But there was some things going on with that whole situation where we didn't go as far as we could have.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying? Because there was other pieces. There's other pieces in place that would have created not an issue, but may have caused some strain on some friendships and stuff like that. And money is not really worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they made sure we was okay. You know what I'm saying? They made sure we was okay.
Say no more. Now take us through. I know you met Jay-Z before you guys signed a deal. Take us through that whole time, because when Jay-Z announced that y'all was signing with Rockefeller, it was like, oh, it's on and popping now, because they had already been kind of building that roster at that point. And I don't know if it was you in the interview, you said when you came to them, it wasn't the Rock, it was a Pebble at that point. So you kind of seen them from the
Right.
beginning. So take us through Rockefeller all the way through the beginning and even the end of it, if you can.
Right. So it's the second MOP album where we're coming off of our very first label, which was Select. Thank God for Mr. Fred Mineo over there who gave us our first deal. Really appreciate that, man. But so we were leaving Select, and this was after the after the first album, going into the second album. And every day, Jay and Dame would come to the studio.
Right.
Every day as we was recording the second album. So there was no Rockefeller. The office was the size of a small 1-bedroom apartment, right? It was Jay, Dame, and there was a young lady at the front desk. Their office was in the same building that Relativity was in. And so it was just them. They were still building. There was Beanie. The world hadn't heard about Beanie. We didn't know of a Memphis Bleak, a Mill, anybody that was on Rockefeller. Nobody was there. It was just Jay and Dame. So that's why I said, when the rock was a pebble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they hadn't even built up yet. So we didn't do the deal with them. Obviously, we went to Loud, and then we moved from Loud to Relativity, a few other spots. And as we're moving and growing, they're moving and growing. So when Rockefeller, the dynasty as we know it, was in a huge position, is when we actually picked up the conversation that we started having when the rock was a pebble. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got hooked up with Dame and Jay, and we decided to go ahead and do some business with them. Now I didn't know that they had some internal issues, which is not just me saying it. Obviously, the world knows that because they broke up.
Right.
So they had these internal issues, and it was like I couldn't see it because I didn't know anything about it. All I was there to do was do my business, so I couldn't see it. And then after a while, it was just like crystal clear that there was an issue there. So we never put the record out on Rockefeller. Rockefeller sort of not dissolved, but they had their little issues. They went their separate ways. And then I had a meeting with Dame, and Dame offered me like a room full of money, and I didn't take it. About less than a week later, I had a meeting with Jay. At this time, he's at Def Jam, so I go to Def Jam, have a meeting with him. He offered me a room and a half full of money, and I didn't take it. Because remember, I was there when the rock was a pebble. So I watched them build this entire dynasty, make each other rich, ridiculous money, put each other into these great positions. And then they not folded, but then they broke apart.
Yes.
Right.
So in my head, I'm going, and this is to both of them, how I'm looking at both of them without any disrespect. But I'm like, if you could have a problem with somebody that made you a multi-millionaire and put you in a position, if you could do, you could shit on him, what are you going to do to me? You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't say anything about them because I don't know what their situation was, why Rockefeller fell apart. But it says something about me, and I needed both of them to understand that. Like, it's more about loyalty with me. And it's hard for me to sleep knowing that somebody I'm loyal to or thinking that somebody I'm loyal to is not loyal to me. So I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm cool. I don't want the room full of money. I don't want the room and a half full of money. I'm gonna stay over here, man. And I'm always, and I never have nothing bad to say about either of them. I'm always cool. I've always been cool with them, still cool with them. But I just can't. I don't want to do business with someone that could potentially chop my legs off. I don't want to do it. It's not. I'm not cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Not at all.
Definitely.
Now the transition from there, I believe, or shortly after, was the transition to G Unit, if I'm not mistaken.
A couple of small deals, like major indies or indies, something like that. We're just indies, mixtapes and all that stuff. Yeah, but right. The next notable deal was with G Unit, and it's like every other deal that we had after Select Records.
Mm.
Everybody that we signed to, the label owner, the CEO, the president, whoever, somebody was a fan. They was a fan of MOP, and it was cool to have MOP on your label. And out of 50's mouth, like 50, he's a smart dude. He wanted to sign his direct competition.
I was going to ask
to
you
be
that.
in business with his direct. He told me. He wanted to say, he said, yeah, I needed to sign my competition. This way, we're not competing with each other. You know what I'm saying? We're just more like dominating which makes perfect sense. Yeah. Perfect sense. Another situation that what I'm grateful for, you know, because those guys had already built. They had pretty much built their own house, and they gave MOP the couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, come in. You know what I'm saying? Come in. Right. You know. But unfortunately, the couch got a little too uncomfortable. Not when I say uncomfortable, I don't mean no uncomfortable situations between MOP and G Unit or myself with 50 or any of the guys, because I love them all, especially that damn Buck. That was my dude. But again, it seems like, and it's not my words, it just seemed like there was some internal issue, probably not in G Unit, but with whoever G Unit was partnering with. For whatever reason, I don't know. So that was another situation that we just kind of got away from with no hard feelings. I haven't seen Fifth in a minute, but you know, I'm always, anytime I'm on Instagram, I look through Fame's page or whatever, I see Fame somewhere chilling out with him. So everything's good. It's just on the business side, it didn't work out for us. But again, another dude, I take my hat off to, because he did everything that he needed to do to secure himself and his team. So, and I appreciate the, you know, him coming to do business with MOP.
Right. Yeah. DJ Who Kid, we was watching him on YouTube the other day, and he was talking about, you know, when he was with G Unit, they gave him a bulletproof vest. How was the atmosphere at G Unit then? You know, going back and forth with all these different labels, Murder Inc. Was it that tense, like Who Kid said it was?
Well, I don't know, because so here's the thing, right? So we always down for it, right?
Right.
But 50, and this is something that I liked about him, he didn't try to drag us into any of his beef or anything. You know, because come on, remember, he was like beefing with Fat Joe and Jada, who's been friends of mine way before we even heard of a 50 Cent.
Wow.
And before we did the deal, literally the day that I met him, we was doing there was a video shoot. We went to a video shoot. The day that I met him, he's talking, you know, we all sitting around talking. I stopped him in the middle of a sentence and go, yo, I need to ask you, man, what is your problem with Fat Joe and Jada?
Damn.
Right? He kind of overtalked and start talking around again and shit. I stopped him again. Yeah, I get all that, bro. But what is your problem with Fat Joe and Jada? Right? Because these are friends of mine. So I need. You know what he said to me, bro? And I respect the hell out of him, yo. He said, that's when I really started liking the dude. He said, I don't got no problem with Fat Joe and Jadakiss. I said, well, what's all this about? He's like, Bill, let me tell you something. I do what I got to do to sell records. Wow. I said, oh shit. So he don't got no issue. He didn't have no issue with Fat Joe and Jada. So Jadakiss got a crew that's really serious. Fat Joe got a crew that's really serious. 50 got a crew that's really serious. If they had a problem, there would have been a problem. You know what I'm saying? So he goes, he says it right to me. I don't have, with a smile too. I got no problem with Fat Joe and Jadakiss. I just do what I got to do to sell records. I was like, oh shit. I liked him for that, yo. And me and this dude used to talk like we would just bump into each other by the elevator while we were touring and just sit there and talk for an hour. Or the nigga come to my room and just kick it for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Right. He was because at first I was skeptical about doing a deal because of all the issues that they had. So, but when I started talking to him, and the issues may have been issues, but it's nothing, it's nothing outside of normal life for me anyway. But he wasn't dragging us into it. the thing that I noticed, where I really liked him, because everybody was saying he was this monster, he was not a good dude, and I seen a whole nother side. So I'm like, man, I like this dude 50. You know what I'm saying? I really like the dude, man. So that was an easy trip for us to deal with those dudes, because they was our kind of dudes. You know what I'm saying? And whatever issues that was happening, like I said, internally, I don't think it was with the actual unit. Maybe G Unit on the business side with their partners is kind of what happened with that. So we just, we got out of there. And like I said, no hard feelings, and shout out to Fifth and the rest of the G Unit.
Did you ever feel the need? I wanted to ask you this beforehand. To jump into Jay-Z and Nas beef. We know a lot of people on that, at that time from Rockefeller jumped in. You guys didn't, from what we know. Did you ever feel the need to do so? Did you kind of just stay on the sideline with that one?
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing, bro. Like, we were doing business with Rockefeller. Like, we weren't Rockefeller. You know what I'm saying? We were doing the same with G Unit. We were doing business with G Unit. We wasn't a part of G Unit. We were MOP. MOP was here before music, right? And then before there was Rockefeller, and before there was G Unit, the company. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't have anything to do with their issues, whether it be hip hop battling, music battling, or street things. Those guys was handling themselves pretty well, so they didn't really need us anyway. You know what I'm saying?
What did you think about the Game and 50 Cent beef? Were you around during that time? Didn't y'all do a diss with them too? With the Game?
No. I think I really don't know what happened with that, but we didn't have again, just like I said, we didn't have an issue with anybody that 50 had an issue with. Because they were already handled. These were beefs that were there before we got there anyway. You know what I'm saying? So and they were already handling things however they were handling it. And I was never on a beef record or diss record or anything like that. I think there was a line that Fame said that maybe somebody took out of context, maybe Game took it out of context, but Game called my phone, we talked about it. It was nothing. You know what I'm saying?
What?
It was nothing. So I think, man, that the whole beefs that they were having. So I from what I understand, like the G Unit and Game thing kind of got a little like real heavy. And it's way out of my range or out of my reach to even speak about, because I don't know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to music, I'm in the music industry, bro. So if I want to talk about music, I'm talking about music. Any kind of beef, I don't know anything about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. Nobody did anything to Fame. Nobody did anything to me. That means everybody was safe in our eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
Yeah,
for sure. Talk about Remy Ma, man. Getting still the hottest, I think, out there. Lyricist, the hottest right now. Talk about your relationship with her, meeting with her, and getting her on your song.
Well, I know. Obviously, I know Remy through Pun. God bless my brother. Yeah. And I hadn't seen her so many times, but I knew we had already met and hung out. We hung out a few times, like she, a couple shows we did. She'd come to the shows, whatever. Then Pun passed away, so it was very short relationship with Pun, kind of stirring it up. You know what I'm saying? Kind of being in the middle. But as far as putting her on a record, and I like the way she told this story. How this was the first record she was on, like first record that kind of gave her that notoriety, and how she would go to school and get all of these praises for the work that she did on this record. So for years she told that part of the story, but she just got on. She just was talking to Nori and them on Drink Champs, and she told the other part of how she bullied her way on my record. and I said this to her too, and we laughed about it. But really, bro, I had no idea she was gonna be on the record. I walked in the studio, and I could hear, "Wish I could bring Pun back, run that, run that." I'm like, I could hear it as I'm walking in. I know the rhythm because it's from my actual rhyme in the original. But I'm like, that ain't my voice. I'm coming in the studio, you know, I'm drowned in Hennessy anyway. So I'm coming in the studio, and when I get in there, she's sitting on the couch, but on the top of the couch with her feet on the cushions, sitting on the top of the couch. And I'm like, yo, play that again. Destroys it. Buster's sitting by the board. I'm talking about, I'm listening to a verse like, wow. I'm like, wow, she destroyed it. So I had no clue she was going to be on the record. She just did it, and we loved it. On that record, Prodigy did a verse for the record.
Yeah.
God bless P. And we decided to pull the verse because he was getting at Jay. That's when they was having their beef. And then Jay was supposed to be on the record too, but Jay hadn't turned his verse in. So so we pulled Prodigy verse, and then we just went on ahead. And so Jay, you know, we decided we're not gonna have Jay on it either, because 9 times out of 10, maybe he would have came back and got at Prodigy, which we would have had to pull the verse anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't gonna let them beef with each other on my record. I just wasn't for it. So Tef got on the record with us. So myself, Buster, Remy, Fame, and Tef created history with that record, man. Great record. And it's still going. Like, the record's still going, man. So yeah, shout out to Remy, man. My sister, she's a bully, man. She's a bully, and I'm really happy that she bullied her way on that record, because it's her verse is so dope. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Legendary.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Indeed. We can talk for hours, and definitely want to get you back in here to talk to you in studio. We'll talk about that behind the scenes. But a couple more questions for you, OG.
Yep.
One, see, you got new music out now. You're still doing your thing, still keeping fresh in these streets. Talk about that, and how are you and Fame doing now?
Oh man, the new music is I'm having fun with it, bro. Like I said, so at this point in my career, there's no pressure to create music.
Right.
No one gonna actually sit in my face or leave any kind of comments and tell me I can't rap. I've done it, right? They can't tell me I ain't dope. They can't tell me I ain't official. I've done it. So I'm not pressured to create these records. There's no label, you know, beating down my, you know, on my phone. Like, yo, where's the record? Where's the record? I do it at my own pace, my own time. Up until this point, I put out 47 records, 47 solo records. I'm literally sitting at the studio now. I'm in the middle of a mix, and then I'm going to create some more records throughout the next week. And maybe in about the next 2 weeks, I'll be finished the next release, not project, because they're all releases. They're all just singles for me, right? So whether 6 songs on there, it's still just a single. Right. So that was the first joint. It was a 6-pack. I put that out. That was just my first single. Then I put the Baker's Dozen out, a 13-part single for me. Then I put out the Listening Session, 12-part single for me. Then I put out the Re-Listening Session, a 16-part single for me. That's all it is, right? So I still haven't gave them the album yet. I'm working on the next piece of the puzzle now, which I should be finishing in about 2 weeks. I'm gonna put that out, and I'm getting I'm getting great response from the records because I'm doing them. They sound like, according to people, to the listeners, to the fans, like it's like a breath of fresh air. Still MOP, new twist, same feel. You know what I'm saying? Right. But everything that they need to get, because as an artist, period, like, people literally felt like I couldn't rap, like I wasn't nice. So this is where all of this is coming from. Just to give you the whole scoop, right? On the internet in 2016, I was getting trolled. I don't know if it was a young person, older person, female, male, I don't know. But I was getting trolled by this person. They kept saying I couldn't rap, I was whack, bars was this, da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, okay, cool. So this is the person. I don't know who the person is. If they're listening, you know, I really appreciate you for lighting a fire under me. You know what I'm saying? So, and I haven't stopped since then.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm working on the next pieces now. Me and Fame are putting MOP records together, like always. So we do maybe maybe every 2 weeks we'll do a record or two. Maybe every 2 weeks, every 2-3 weeks we'll do a record or two and just put it in the cut. To be honest, people go, yo, we need that new MOP album. I hear it. I see you saying it, but understand what we've been through putting this records together throughout our careers. Like, we gave y'all a lot. And I'm not saying cut your hand off, cut your arm off, but the next MOP happens, the next MOP record happens when I feel like the people deserve it. I'm not giving you no record if you don't deserve it. You can't get that MOP record. And that's not me stopping it. That's you stopping it. So if you're serious about wanting an MOP album, and I'm talking to the fans now, if you're serious about wanting an MOP album, you got to be serious about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes ain't got time to just be putting these records together and just putting them out just because you say you like them, or you sent an emoji, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to support, and that's not just MOP, that's just artists, period.
Yeah.
Like we're not machines. We're human beings that actually, it takes a lot for us to go in there and do things, right? To get these records done to the best of our ability. There's to be honest, right? There's only a certain amount of words in the English language. You expect me, almost 30 years into this business, to go in there and move this puzzle around of the limited words that's in the English language and put together a masterpiece for you not to support me like you say you do, like you say you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, give me a break. You know what I'm saying? Give me a break. Like, if y'all serious, we serious. So, but we'll figure out a way to get this record, to get that MOP record out if the people deserve it, bro. If not, then whatever. You know what I'm saying?
So would you kind of say that it was kind of more organic, that you guys not really split, but kind of just, you gave the people so much together that almost like Jay and Dame, it was time to kind of do your thing on the side separately? Is that the case for MOP?
Nah, because it's never that. Like, so even though you hear me on the record,
right,
it's still an MOP record, right? So if Fame don't give me, I'm send him the record first before anybody else get it. If he goes, yeah. See, he's such an honest dude. He ain't gonna bullshit me, right? He gonna say, yo, so that one's not dope. I hate the mix. The drop ain't right. Why you say this like this? It's whack. And then I won't put the record out. That's just it. I don't care how I feel about it, because I value his opinion, and it's important. And what I put out reflects on us. You know what I mean? Whether I'm on the record or not, by myself or not. You know what I'm saying? So any record that you hear and says Billy Danze, it's an MOP record, because everybody has to have a say. So if Flip don't like the record, I can talk to Flip and go with Flip. Maybe this, that, boom. And Flip might go, okay, I see what you're saying. So I'll put the record out. But I've already got the okay from Fame anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of how it is, brother. You know?
Straight here.
We definitely appreciate you, Billy Danze, on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, man. Get up out your whip and go do your business, man. Handle your thing. We definitely appreciate your time. Like I said, man, maybe we can get behind the scenes and schedule you coming up in the studio, man. We definitely would love to hear some more stories and some more intellect, you know what I mean, from the OG, man. But before we get up out of here, let the people know where they can find you, social media handles, YouTube, things like that, brother. The floor is yours.
Dope. Yeah, man. Find me on IG, Billy Danze, M.O.P. On Twitter, Bill Danze, MOP. On Facebook, Billy Danze. You'll see the artwork for the Chief, which is one of the singles I put out up there. So, and one thing I want to say, like, you can contact me, and this is to the fans, to anybody, like, you can hit me. And when you hit me, it don't necessarily always got to be about music or a check or something like that. Like I'm a regular person, right? And I know I've been through some things and some situations, and I understand everybody's not always in a good space, and you may need somebody to just talk to. So you could holler at me for any reason at all. I'm always here for my people. Always want to help people get to a better space if I can. So I'm here for everybody. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Billy Danze on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Definitely appreciate you, man. Peace.
Salute.
Yes, sir.